Hi, I'm Jenny Peterson, and I'm one of the counselors here at Sultan High School. So I will start us off with a quick introduction. I just wanted to say thank you again to all of the seniors, and it was probably the majority of you that filled out the senior survey that we sent out. We took all of that information and we basically used that to create this information session so that we could address specific concerns, questions, that you and your parents have. So that's going to be the format of this webinar today. And then we'll follow up by posting the PowerPoint as well as our senior information packet on our website, so you can review at a later date as well. So again, I'm Jenny Peterson, and I am a counselor for students with the last names A through L. And Ms. Garibay is returning to us this year with students with the last names M through Z. I'll turn it over to you.
Again, my name is Ms. Garibay. I am new to Sultan High School, well, new-ish, because like Mrs. Peterson said, I am returning and I'm very, very excited to be working here again. And just a reminder, this is being recorded, but you can only see us and the PowerPoint. Your faces will not be viewable during the recording. If you do have any questions, Mrs. Whitmire, Mr. Sifferman, and Mr. Malone are going to be doing our Q&A. There is that feature if you wanted to ask any questions. We do have some question time saved at the end of the presentation, but we will encourage you guys, if you guys have a pen and a piece of paper, while this is being recorded, you may want to take notes just on whatever stands out to you. That way it'll be easier for you to review. Sorry, I tested the clicker. There we go. Okay, so for today, again, based off of the senior survey, and again, thank you for filling that out. These are the different topics that we are going to cover. You can see those on the left-hand side, but then all of the information really truly is essentially in the packet that we sent out to you via your school email. And again, that is the school email that this packet was sent out to you. And you'll be able to access the links from this packet. And if you don't see it in your email, it is very possible you might be checking your Canvas email. You will need to check your email through the Outlook side of it, so through Microsoft Office. Towards the end, we'll save the time for questions and answers. And then for those that want to stick around afterwards, we are going to walk you through some of the different websites that we shared during the presentation in case you wanted to see or get a tutorial on how to actually access these different things. But that will be up to you at that point. So first item, counselor check-ins. We do find it very, very important for us to get to know our students, and especially for me and with my seniors, I clearly don't know you guys. So the first opportunity that I'm gonna get to actually get to know you is gonna be through the senior check-ins. We will send you an invite to your school email with a date and time for your appointment. That will also be sent out to your parents or guardians, and they are more than welcome to join on that conversation. Again, check the Outlook email for that. These will all be via Zoom, so there will be a link for that. And things that we'll be reviewing include your credit standing, your graduation pathway, so essentially the state testing that isn't just SBAC anymore, your personalized pathway, and just get to know what you are planning on doing after high school so we know how to support you throughout the school year.
So I'm going to touch on graduation requirements really quickly, and wanted to say first, congratulations. You're the first graduating class to earn the 24 credits. So yay! Especially given current circumstances, that could seem overwhelming. However, we have built in a lot of opportunities in our schedule for students to more than easily earn 24 credits. So at this time, the credit check, the packet, it's in your packet and you can fill it out online. So You can just check the boxes if you wanted to go through and kind of see where you're at. And that's something that we will also discuss when we meet with you individually, is where you are with your credits. As far as graduation pathways, last year, not sure how many of you remember, Mrs. G and I went into the US history classes and we talked to you about graduation pathways and how that shifted a little. Like Ms. Garibay said, it's not just SBAC testing, that there's a lot of other options for meeting that pathway. And we met with you as juniors to discuss that and kind of identify some pathways. So we will review that information with you. And it's individual to each student, so we didn't want to take a whole lot of time covering that as a whole, since you will get the individual time with us to discuss. This year, again, we did announce through email, but wanted to be clear that we do not have a culminating project or senior presentation. So our school board did determine that is waived for the current graduating class of 2021. So that means you do not need to have the community service hours completed, a job shadow, college visit, your essay, or complete a presentation. So that piece has been waived for this year. We will have the state required high school and beyond plan, which will be online. So we're asking you to just stay tuned for that, since we're still working on some of the technology pieces. But that is a state requirement, and so we will definitely discuss that and bring your advisors into that discussion at a later date. So the next slide, quite a few students did ask about credits, and again, this is something we will be discussing with you individually. We do understand that a few students did get incompletes at the end of their junior year. We're currently waiting for some guidance from OSPI to determine the best approach for working with those. A lot of students are making up those classes in second semester, as your schedules reflect. We do have Edgenuity opportunity for credit retrieval, and some students are already working on that. There's also an opportunity to get credits through working. We did notice on the survey that quite a few of you, I believe it was 35 to 40%, have a job currently. So you can make that work for you as far as earning some additional credit. Mr. Sandberg is our point person for that program. It's called Worksite Learning, and we would be happy to connect you with him if you want to email us after the presentation, and we can give you more information. And again, we'll cover your specific credit needs when we have the senior check-ins.
Okay, so this is really the meat of what we spend a lot of time trying to figure out what information do we get out to you, because we know that you are getting close to that moment of going in so many different pathways, and everybody really does truly have a different path after high school. I want to reiterate, one, because we spent a lot of time on this packet, but two, because it really does have a lot of good information. The packet that we send out to your school emails has links for all these different resources, and we'll cover in more detail some of these pieces too. We even have a link for those going into the workforce, for those who are thinking, you know what, I might take a gap year. I want to go to community college. I want to go to a four-year university, or maybe I do want to do an apprenticeship, but right now I need to work. We even have a link for that, where you can see the job outlooks for the different paths that you may want to take. And one of the things that I will just share with you as a tip is that whenever you are searching for resources, if you are on a website and it's a .org or a .gov, it's more likely to be more reliable than a .com. Not always the case, but that is one of the things that you can look out for. So more in depth for four-year universities. In your packets, there are 2 pages that outline the deadlines, 2 pages, the deadlines for all Washington State public and private universities. I will repeat that. All of the deadlines for all Washington State public and private universities. And this is for their admissions application. Their scholarship application may have a different deadline, but you can use this as a planning tool. to really schedule in the time that you are going to take to work on this application. This isn't something where you can do the day before. More likely, it's going to be something that will take you at least, and I'm saying at least, a week to gather all the materials that is needed for a four-year university. So definitely check that out. Look at the colleges that you are interested in, highlight those deadlines, and make sure to plug those into your calendars. Many of you have been stressed out, and we have already been getting some questions via the senior survey or just emails to us about the SATs and the ACTs, because you guys haven't had the chance to really have too many opportunities to take it, or not even an opportunity to take it. Universities understand this, and for that reason, most, if not all, universities in the state of Washington have waived the requirement to need an SAT or an ACT scores. Some of them don't even want to see them if you even have them, because they don't want that to skew the chances because other students didn't get that same chance. If you have signed up for it and you are waiting for an SAT to come up in person so you can take the test, for that refunding piece or that rescheduling piece, we do need you to work with College Board, which is the mother of SAT. And they do have a chat feature in College Board that will connect you directly to somebody and give you answers right there and then. So you don't have to wait for that email, or you don't have to wait on hold for a very long time. The chat feature has usually worked a lot faster for me. As far as college fairs, they are still happening. They look way different than they have before. You're not going to the Seattle Convention Center, or they're not happening out in the Commons, but they are happening, and they are happening virtual. Two big ones that are coming up, and these are in your packet as well, are the National College Fair, which has over 300 colleges and universities from across the nation. And another one is coming up, I think it's PNACAC College Fair. Again, it's in your packet. This one is focused on just the Pacific Northwest. So that will include Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and I think Alaska. For both of these college fairs, even though they are free for you to attend, you do want to register ahead of time for these to make sure that you have a spot. I don't know if they know what this is actually going to look like, because this is new to a lot of people. So you want to try to register ahead of time for that. And one of the neat things about the Pacific Northwest College Fair is that they are also going to have information sessions based on the admissions application. So there's going to be an information session on how to write a college admission essay. There's going to be another one on how to choose a college, or how to look for the financial aid in a college. And these are things that you could register for ahead of time as well. And guess what? College tours are also happening. But again, they don't look the same. They're more likely to be virtual. But you can visit the colleges, the college that you are interested in, via their website, and see what they have to offer for a tour. If they have in-person coming up soon, maybe try in-person. If not, try the virtual. And I think the virtual opportunities are probably going to stick around for a while, because it's really hard for our students to take a tour at UCLA when we live in Sultan, Washington. So my guess is this is going to stick around, so take advantage of it. And I think it'll also probably serve to encourage you in just the current situation that we are in. Another thing that we wanted to be sure to touch base on is the Common App. If you have not heard of this, I would definitely encourage you to check it out. The Common App is one application for many colleges. So say, for example, there's 2 schools that I want to apply to, or say 3, and I go onto their website and they say you can apply directly through us, or you can apply through the Common App. If you apply through the Common App and there's 2 of them, you just do one application for both of them. You don't have to do 2 separate applications. So that's where the benefit of that comes in. If you utilize the Common App, SendEDU, or the Coalition app, through any of those opportunities, you will have the opportunity to include a school counselor email. Depending on the site, the school counselor referral could be writing a letter of recommendation for you, or just uploading your high school transcript. But because this will come directly to us. We need you to be sure to write our email address correctly. And you can see our email addresses on our counseling website, but we'll also have that information at the end of this presentation. And let's see what else. Letters of recommendation. That's actually another big one, especially for those applying through the Common App. If you are applying through the Common App, I will tell you right now that both Mrs. Peterson and myself will ask you to fill out a letter recommendation form, because they ask for a wealth of information and we want to be able to best describe you as best as we can. So that letter recommendation form is, of course, linked in your packet, but also on our counseling website. And I know that other teachers or other staff members also like to use this form. Because it is now online, there is an option at the beginning of the form to identify who you want this request to go to. And then Mrs. Peterson or myself will forward that to that person, so they have that information about you as well. And then transcript requests, you may think I'm going to tell you that that is currently in your packet. Actually, it is in your packet, but it is not on our website yet. We are actually working on a form to have online so that you can make those requests online. This is also something that you want to request ahead of time, because they don't necessarily, it does take a few minutes and some time for Ms. Teal to be able to get those out, whether it's a hard copy or upload. So I would say make sure to give, for transcripts, make sure to give at least 2 to 3 days in advance. For letters of recommendation, you're probably looking at more like 2 to 3 weeks in advance. And again, that's because we want to be able to best describe you. So if you give us 1 day, well, chances are we probably won't be able to make that happen. But the more time you give us, the more time that we can put into a letter recommendation for you to really highlight your best qualities.
So moving on, our survey results showed that a larger percentage were interested in four-year colleges, which is why we did want to spend a good amount of time on that. And then the second highest response was community technical colleges. In Washington state alone, there are over 30 colleges that offer different certification and programs that could lead to a lot of potential career paths or jobs, ranging anything from electricians to nursing, nursing assistants, computer programming, baking or culinary, robotics, fire science. There's a lot of different opportunities in our state and out of state as well, going this route. So we wanted to highlight a couple of things, and we're going to actually show you their website at the end when we kind of do some live kind of walking through some of these different websites. One thing that is nice with the community technical colleges is they generally share one application. So you would go to apply and you can actually select from a variety of different schools when you're filling out that application. So there's no need to go to each college to apply. There is not a minimum GPA requirement, which is sometimes nice for some students that are concerned about that as a requirement. Also, don't require SAT or ACT scores. However, currently four-year colleges do not for this year either. For the cost, a lot of students find that, and families, that is financially more affordable, and you can start at a 2-year college and then transfer into a university should you want to do that, and get your prerequisites taken care of initially at a much lower cost. Many schools do offer bachelor's degrees and other programs where you can continue on campus beyond just the 2 years. And then some schools actually offer shorter certification programs where you're not even there for 2 years. So there's just a wide variety of opportunities, which is why we wanted to show you that website. And there's actually a virtual community and technical college fair coming up November 19th as well. So there is a link in this PowerPoint where you can go sign up for that. So moving on to financial aid for either the four-year college or community college programs, then you would need to have money to go there. That was one of the top questions we saw in the comment boxes outside of the senior presentation questions were, how do I find out about scholarships, financial aid, how do I pay for college? So we have a lot of opportunities actually coming up for you to learn about these different options, and then we can discuss this in more detail as it pertains to you individually. Essentially, financial aid boils down to scholarships, loans, grants, fee waivers, as you can see on the screen. There is in your senior packet page about Otter. So there's a number you can text, and Otter will give you a lot of financial aid feedback via that, that app. So financial workshops at colleges. I know Everett Community College has a couple coming up this month. I want to say it is, let's see, we're going to post this on our website, but October 22nd, November 3rd, and November 17th. So Everett Community College is hosting this. However, you don't need to be planning to go to Everett Community College. It's just an opportunity to get that extra one-on-one support. So we do have a scholarship search tool we're going to look at later through College Board, where you can find a lot of different scholarships. And of course, we always encourage students to complete the FAFSA or WASFA, which did open October 1st. So that opportunity is there. We are actually going to be offering a financial aid 101 later this month, where somebody will kind of walk you through all of that information in more detail. And then we do have local scholarships, the Sultan Education Foundation and March Foundation, and those generally open in April. So the local ones are not currently available, but we definitely let students know that will be coming up in the spring. So those opportunities are there as well. Also wanted to touch on, Ms. Garibay and I can recommend a student for the Washington State University Regents Scholarship, which is a pretty prestigious scholarship. We are asking if any students are interested, that's your first choice school, you're pretty certain you're going to go there. It is available for students who have a 3.6 cumulative GPA or higher, and kind of a wide variety of extracurricular activities. That's the eligibility piece from Wazoo. So please contact us by the end of today so we can work with you on the nomination process if Wazoo is your first choice.
And just to add on to that, Mrs. Peterson, we're saying the end of today because we have sent it out multiple times. We've sent out emails to specific students that we find would be eligible to this scholarship, and also based on the senior survey where they mentioned Wazoo. And we actually have a deadline that we have to meet. So we're actually we've been extending and extending, but we probably can't extend past today for that nomination. And the chances of you getting at least, I don't know, I think it's like at least $500 scholarship by us just nominating you are like 90%. The big scholarship, the big Wazoo Regent Scholarship, is a 4-year full ride. That one's a little more competitive, and it's limited to 7 to 9 students. But you could, by us nominating you, at least get a small scholarship, keeping in mind that we can only nominate 1 or 2. So after we get any names, we're going to pick and choose based on the eligibility requirements that they have sent out for us. Sorry.
Oh, thank you for that piece. And I actually just now realized there's a whole separate slide for the financial aid session that I just mentioned. So that is coming up October 23rd at 10:30 a.m. And just there's a side note at the top, all seniors are expected to attend some kind of a financial aid session. That's actually a new requirement linked to the high school and beyond plan from Washington State. So Washington State put out this information earlier, and we attended a training to find out kind of what other counselors and schools are doing. So we do have a lot of support in this area, which is great. So we set up this workshop, and again, this is a requirement on the high school and beyond plan that you attend some kind of a financial aid session. And I know the person hosting this is fantastic and can definitely answer a lot of questions. We will also be following that up with application workshops where it'll be virtual at this time, but Everett Community College is helping us with these November 10th and 12th at 6 p.m. So later in the day for parents who are working or students working. And essentially you would need to have your tax information with you while you're going through, because they can help you file and get all of that completed. So we do that you know about here.
Okay. One of the other things that really came out in the senior survey is that we need to figure out ways to teach you guys and also share resources on how to take care of yourself, how to take care of your mental health. And I'm going to slow down for this just because I know I talk fast, but I really, really, really think this is important. We know that it is a really difficult situation that we are all going through for a variety of different reasons. And each one is valid to ourselves. But there are things that you can do for yourself. There are resources out there, but again, I just want to reiterate, making sure that when you are Googling for any resources, make sure to look at the credibility of that website. Because you can Google, like, maybe a yoga session for you could be good, and maybe find them under YouTube, or a meditation, guided meditation, or maybe you need soothing music. You can also Google deep breathing exercises. It's sometimes difficult to do deep breathing exercises just for ourselves, on our own, but if you have a YouTube video guiding you through that, it might give you the opportunity to be more in tune in the moment than if you are trying to force yourself on your own to do it. The one thing, well, not the one thing, there's a lot of things, honestly, that you can do to take care of yourself. These are just some ideas. Making sure that you get enough sleep. Exercise is actually really good. Well, not only does it help us to be fit, but it actually helps our brain to relax too. Especially if you find that you can have some kind of movement in the morning to be able to give your brain that space for the rest of the afternoon while you're doing your classes, excuse me, or anything else. Eating healthy is healthy. Eating healthy is healthy. Eating healthy is good. And then just being sure to remember to laugh, have fun. There's still the need for us to have fun. And I think what we've been seeing right now, even in this distance learning or people staying in their homes, is that people are getting really, really creative about how they can bring positivity and fun into their lives. And I would encourage you to share those with each other, bring positivity to each other, highlight that positivity to each other. You are not alone in this. Be sure to show kindness to each other. That's what we can do, right? There's a lot of things we can't control, but what we can control is what we show to each other, our own actions and behaviors. So being kind. A homework item that I don't usually assign homework, but a homework item that I really, really want to put out to you guys is to find a statement or quote that really inspires you. Maybe put it as a background in your laptop for when you're getting stressed with school, that you can just set that window down for a second and have that statement pop out to you. Or maybe make a pretty design and frame it somewhere in your room or next to your laptop so that you can be reminded of it consistently. I know I have a quote that actually inspires me or just helps me in the moment. Mrs. Peterson, do you have a quote that inspires you?
Yeah, I do. Actually, my sister sent me a card, and it just spoke to me so much that I have it on my wall, and I've had it there for a year and a half. So I look at it a lot when I just need that moment. All it says is everything is going to be okay. That's all I need sometimes, just to see that, and I'm like, okay, it's all right. You know, just that quick couple seconds to see that, and for me, that's reassuring. It might not be reassuring for somebody else, but that is one thing that hit home for me. So.
And for me, sometimes I just need something to just give me a quick break. It doesn't have to be a long-term break, but just a quick break. So the one that resonates with me the most is smile, it's free. Because it literally in that moment just makes me smile, gives me a break from whatever I am experiencing, and lets me move on to other things. So again, homework to you guys, find that quote, find that statement that maybe inspires you, and find a way to make sure that it is something that is easily visible to you for those moments that you need that. Now, we talk about self-care, about things that you can do for yourself, but if you are finding that, you know what, I am just not managing all that great on my own, and I know I just want to feel better. This doesn't, and frequently we think, oh, I need help, I need help. Or sorry, not as frequently, we're like having a hard time reaching out for help, but sometimes we just need somebody to talk to. And that's how I would really encourage you to think about these supports at school. These are people that are here at, or not here at school actually physically, but these are people that are dedicated to working with Sultan High School students. Seymour from Mandy from Seymour is here currently virtually, but if she has enough students, she said that she could come in person, even right now during distance learning. Melody from THS, she is here virtually and in person to Sultan High School students. So if you're looking for that one-on-one connection and you're like, you know what, these virtual therapy sessions are not working, this is an option for you. And you can contact them directly. I believe it's been shared out via social media, via so many different avenues, and they're also going to be on our website if they're not already. You can contact them directly, or you can just send us a quick email. You could give us details or not, and you could just say, hey, I'd like to meet with Melody. Can you pass on that referral for me? And we'd be more than happy to do that for you. So those are two options for you. Another option, it's down at the bottom of this slide, but I really probably should have just done a whole slide just for it. If you have not been aware, there is a care crisis line that is available to anybody at any ages, of any ages, at any time, anywhere that you are at, via phone, for free, 24/7, I already said that you can call. You can also text if that makes you feel more comfortable. It is available in both English and Spanish. And if you don't have a phone or you can't text, there's also a way to connect with them via their website. And on our counseling website, we actually have a list of the care crisis line information and different chat options that you have, but we also have a list of so many other community supports if you didn't want to utilize one of these two. And I would encourage you again, if you're just thinking, I just need someone to talk to, try something that you haven't tried before, or maybe you have tried it and it's worked, but try something to get yourself connected, because you do not have to go through this by yourself. And I want to reiterate that you do not have to go through this by yourself. There are supports that we can connect you with should you be ready for that.
So another piece too that is probably pretty challenging for you right now, because I hear this from my daughter, is it's hard, like not seeing your friends in person or not really having that access, which I know it's tough. And I know a lot of you actually did ask, like, hey, when are we going to be able to come back? When are we going to have prom? Are we going to have prom? Are we going to have school events where we can be back in person? And we don't have a clear answer for you at this time. However, we have not forgotten by any means. We definitely want to be able to try to offer these things that are part of your senior year that you've been looking forward to. And that's definitely our goal too. And I know a lot of that is dependent on, you know, the state's recommendations, but that we did want to acknowledge that you did have those questions. Quite a few of you actually asked, and we hope that you're still able to connect with each other outside of school time as well. So, so the first thing says prom school events, and I don't believe we have any specific date set because we're just waiting to see what the state recommendations are, but we have not forgotten them. We did get feedback from Mr. Brumley about senior pictures. They are due the end of October. So there's an app, Ms. Garibay and I actually checked it out. It's called Yearbook Snap. And so you just put the app in your phone and you could submit your pictures that way. So that seems like a pretty good approach. And the final one, grades are real. Yeah, even though you're not coming to school on campus, Please do your best to be in communication with teachers if you feel like you're falling a little bit behind. I know the format and the platform is a little different with a lot more emphasis on Canvas and this new Edgenuity program, as well as the Zoom. So there's kind of 3 different things happening, and we recognize that. Your best point of contact for anything specific to classes and grades is your teacher. They do have office hours available all day Friday, and then there's times in the afternoons as well as Tuesdays and Thursdays for small groups. So we can't stress enough how important it is to reach out directly to your teacher, and then keep us in the loop as well. You're welcome to CC myself or Ms. Garibay, whichever counselor, on those emails, so we are aware too that you're trying to get a little bit more support. At this time, as I said at the beginning, the graduation requirements are exactly the same as they have been for you. So nothing has been changed by the state as far as required credits. But again, the good news is that we did meet with hopefully each of you last year. And I want to say, I know with my juniors, it was probably a couple weeks before school was closed that we finally were able to connect about your schedule for senior year and then looking at your graduation pathways. So we're pretty confident that we've got a plan in place for everyone, and we want to, again, have those individual appointment times. We will invite a parent if a parent can join, but we do want to give you that time to go over all of this information specific to you. So that kind of,
if you are worried because you're like, well, no, Ms. Garibay did not meet with me last year because she was not here. I do have a good amount of information that Mrs. G left for me. I have a file of your credit checks. I have a file of your personalized pathways. So unless those need to be adjusted, it is something I already have. So I am starting to get to know you guys, maybe not face to face, but at least through some of the information that was left for me. So please feel free to reach out to further plan, but know that I do have some information about you guys already.
So we are going to shift over to question and answer time, and I believe there were a couple in the comments already. And then we also have the events currently listed over here, where you can see we do have an ASVAB scheduled for later November. Again, the financial aid workshop for our seniors on the 23rd, and these workshops for families, and a world language competency exam. We are still working on scheduling a date for that, but we are aware there are some seniors that want to take that. So our contact information is over here. And I did want to also note for students filling out Common App and Send EDU that are my students, if you could please use Jenny instead of Jennifer. I actually have 4 different accounts for each of those because my name has changed, and I know on the screen it says Jennifer and I actually go by Jenny, so that makes it confusing. But if you could just please keep it to jenny.peterson would be great. Yeah, so I wanted to answer, I saw there was one question. Oh, it looks like it's been answered already. Okay.
But
letter recommendation form, yeah.
If you do have questions that are still out there that you want to ask, now's the time to do those. Be sure to write those out in the Q&A feature in the Zoom webinar, and we can address these. Some questions that have already been answered include the letter, about the letter recommendation form. Apparently, as much as I've highlighted the senior packet that we sent out to you, there's a link that is not working, and that is the letter recommendation form. Not sure why. We tested it out like a million times, right, Mrs. Peterson?
Yes.
Yeah. So, well, I guess you may want to try copying and pasting it. But the other option is it is actually currently on our counseling website under counseling news, so you can access it that way. And then we could probably, if you email us, we can probably just send you the link directly to you. That would work as well. What other questions have come up? Video is also going to be posted on our counseling website. How long is this meeting? We were honestly just waiting until the Q&A time to address any other questions that you guys might have before walking you guys through a few different websites that could be useful to you. So after the Q&A, if you're feeling like I got my information, then you're good to go. If you'd like to stick around, you are more than welcome to. We might give it another minute or two to submit any questions before we start going into the walkthroughs.
We also invited Mr. Sifferman here. There were a few questions specific to sports and the senior survey responses. So he's joining us here, and his email is also on this PowerPoint.
Do you want me to share what I know right now?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay. Certainly know that there's been a lot of change going on, and the present plan that we have right now is, I think the question that was shared with me is, when will we expect to see sports begin? The plan right now is that our basketball seasons, boys and girls, as well as our wrestling season, they are scheduled to start in the WIA's adjusted season, which is now called season 2. And the practices are scheduled to start for that on December 28th. And then competitions will start in January and continue through January into the beginning of February, with a postseason plan at the end of February for those sports. Season 3, which used to be our fall, is scheduled to start at the beginning of March, with one exception. Football is supposed to start in the middle of February because it requires more practices in order to be able to participate. So that plan for season 3 is to start mid-February for football, everything else the first week of March, and competitions will go through March and through April, with at the end of April is when we have postseason plans for that season. Our typical spring, which usually starts in March, is scheduled to start at the beginning of May, and we'd have contests going through May and into the end of June, with again a postseason plan there as well. I can tell you that while there's always questions about will we be ready to start season 2, etc., the one thing, knowing that our spring sport athletes missed out across the state, we are going to do whatever we can to protect season 4, our spring sports, as best as we can. Now, the other thing that has just happened within the last week and a half, actually it happened this week, and it's added some work, but it's good work to have. The guidelines for being able to participate in what's called out of season, what typically is your summertime. We're in the middle of that now. Sultan is not participating, and there are a lot of other public schools that are not participating right now. But with updated guidelines, I'm going to be going to the school board with a proposal to start having some level of practices that we can have on campus. That also, yesterday I was told that was going to extend beyond the end of this month, or beyond the end of November. So hopefully we'll have some news for you, and I will, if we're given the go-ahead by our school board to start having some levels of practices, you and your parents will need to get completely cleared to participate, and I'll send out the information on how that can happen, and it will happen at some point in time. I'm not sure and certainly if there's specific questions that I didn't address that you have about athletics, my email address is right there on the screen. Reach out, and I would happy to respond to anything and everything. This is something that we've been missing out on. We've been missing out on a lot of things, and looking forward to having something to work towards again soon.
Thank you, Mr. Sifferman. Mrs. Whitmire, Mr. Malone, anything else that you guys wanted to add before we do walkthroughs? And again, this is being recorded. So I know some of you scheduled some time to meet with your teachers today, and if that needs to happen, go ahead and make it happen. The walkthroughs will also be recorded.
For me, I just can't iterate enough that you need to get into Canvas and you need to get into Ingenuity and you need to submit your work. If you do need help, please reach out to your teachers. They are there to help you. They want to help you. And so I know this is not easy. I get it. I understand. I have kids at home that are also frustrated and struggling through all of this as well. So know that we understand. At this time, we are doing the best we can, and we are trying to update and keep everything as updated as possible. One of the positives that has come out of here is that the senior project was waived at the last board meeting. So that's a positive to help with the stress levels of our seniors, because I know that this is a stressful time. So we are looking into things. We are trying to help alleviate some stress, but know that we also have to prepare you to go out into the real world after high school. So that is part of our job. And so we are here to help any way we can. So please feel free to reach out to us and we will do what we can.
Thank you. All right, I don't see any other questions coming in. Mrs. Peterson, you ready to walk them through a few different websites?
Yeah, sure. So we're going to start with Big Future, which is one of my favorite go-tos because it's a national search and you can use this to search for college specific or scholarships, but we'll start with college. So I know that a lot of you had questions about applying to colleges and what their admissions requirements are. So if you click on the link in the packet, and again, we did check all of these. I'm not sure what happened with the letter of recommendation. The college search tool gives you lots of different things to look at, and to find a specific college, you can click on the drop down Miss Garibazon and go to college search, and it'll bring up a search bar to type in.
No.
So,
you know, what's funny is that we literally tested this out yesterday as well. There we go. So you click on it, you don't go down to the college search. You just click
bring up a search bar for you to type the college name. And again, this is a national college search. So if you type in, let's say Central, Washington University, Central, there's a lot of colleges with the word Central. So you have to make sure it's the one you're looking for. And then it actually takes you to an info page from College Board where you can see that there's a lot of different information in here, but this is not Central's website specifically. This is just kind of an overview of the college. So, which actually breaks down the information into a lot of different things to look at. And it's probably not quite the same as their actual website, but it still gives you a quick glance and overview. There's deadlines there. You can see all the majors, campus life, how to apply, how much it costs for pay, and then I want to see what else they have on there. There's some comparisons to some other.
I was going to say, that's actually one of the tools that I really like about this, that you can compare what does Central look like compared to the University of Washington, or what does Central look like compared to Wazoo. And here you'll see that Wazoo, Western, and UW are considered large size, and Central is considered medium size, so that you know off the bat there's going to be less people at Central than at UW or Wazoo or Western.
And then you can go directly to Central's website from here as well. So that's another nice feature, is it takes you directly to that college.
And then when you are looking to get information on how to apply to any university, the tab that you are looking for is admissions, 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 admissions. And the other question I've gotten is, like, all these options that come up under admissions, undergraduate, transfer, graduate, like, what am I, right? All of our students, unless you have an associate's degree, are considered undergraduate students. And again, this is same thing for any website, any college website that you are at. When they ask you what you are an undergraduate or first-year student, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And here you can see Central's outline of steps to apply. You'll notice right here, the SAT is not required. However, it's useful for placement. And then you can find out more information about their admissions requirements and the courses that they would expect you to have met, as well as their deadlines. And we got here again by going to the Big Future website that came from our senior packet. Okay. What else did we want to show them, Mrs. Peterson?
So also Big Future, the scholarships piece, because this is a national scholarship search tool and it's pretty broad and you can actually kind of hone it into specific things about you without revealing your name or birthday or anything too personal. So even though it says personal information here, once you click start, I think it just asks for basic information that wouldn't actually identify you. If you have a College Board account, for example, all students in AP classes should have College Board accounts, you can search for scholarships specific to you with a profile you already built in College Board. But if you don't have a College Board account and you're like, I just want to see what scholarships are out there, this is a nice search tool that any student can use without having an account.
So the first thing that'll come up is this welcome, but you can also just go to search results to just see what will pop up without search results, and you'll see that there's a whole 64 pages of it. What the putting in the information does for you is it sees if you connect to the eligibility criteria, so that it just gives you a more narrowed list. All right, sorry, I'm going back here. Because again, this is a very handy dandy tool that you'll want to check out in your school email out of Outlook. Okay, let's see what else. I think we also wanted to show them the college fair sites.
Yes, and also the community college link, which is the second page. So we should do the college fair first.
Okay, so the Pacific Northwest one, also the PNACAC, there we go.
How would you say that? I've heard them say
PNACAC, I don't know. So if you scroll down, you'll see all the dates of the different opportunities that they have for you, including the college fair dates, but also, like I said, if you needed support in how do I write a college essay or financial aid, or how do you search for colleges during this distance learning model, right? How do I ask questions? Who do I talk to? And all that kind of stuff. But what you will want to do is register for those sessions. While I don't see that they're limiting any spots, my fear is that at some point, if there's too many people, that they're going to have to start limiting. So if you're interested in this, sign up sooner rather than later. And then up top, just a dedicated time for Washington State students. And then the big one is this one. This one is the one we were talking about that has over 300 colleges and universities from across the nation. This one is coming up Monday, and then this one is coming up next weekend. That's one of the reasons why we really wanted to do this information session today, is that so you have enough time to plan for this event coming up next weekend. And you would also want to register ahead of time for this event, but you can see all the schools and universities that are going to attend that session.
And typically the National College Fair is usually hosted in person. We've had students attend in the past and they really got a lot out of it. They felt it was a really good use of their time. Granted, they can't meet in person this year, so it is virtual, but it's still a good resource, definitely.
And we didn't mention this in the PowerPoint slides, but one of the other things that you're going to want to consider, if you do have questions about the university, each university sets aside specific admissions counselors for different areas in Washington State for Washington State schools. So if you want to talk one-on-one with somebody about it, you can still connect with them. What I would do, and I'm winging this one, okay? So hopefully nothing weird pops up. But you can, I would just Google, if I want to go to Central, I would just Google CWU admissions counselors. And let's see what pops up. Admissions directory, ta-da. So you know the different people that you can reach out to. Oh my goodness, I went to college with him. Okay, anyways, side note. But anyways, so that's a way to be able to connect directly with them and get support directly from them. You can ask them about, hey, can you review my transcript and give me some feedback? Can you review my college essay and give me some feedback? They will do that. And the more you put your name out there, these are the same people who review applications. So if you've been in contact with them and your application pops up, they're gonna be like, ooh, I know this kid, right? So put yourself out there for the schools that you are most interested in. Did I wing it okay? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. The other thing we wanted to show you, oh, the community college one, Mrs. Peterson?
Yeah, on the next page. I like how this actually broke it down into all the different courses or certificates you could work on at each school. I think it's the big
It's this one, right?
link.
The big link.
Yeah, it has all of them listed, and then you can filter your searches.
Yeah.
I'll probably use this a lot this year.
And if you're like, oh, I want to go to Cascadia and I want to go into, I don't know, something specific, you can click the plus sign to see the different programs that are there to see if they even have it. And if they don't, maybe you want to look at a different one. Or maybe it just reiterates that that's the good fit for you. You see all the different programs and certificate programs that the colleges, oh, wow, that's a wealth of opportunities. That's a long list. Okay. Anyways, it's a good tool to search for what you are interested in. You can also, using the filters, select by your interest. So if I'm interested in, let's see if they have nursing. Yeah. I'm interested in nursing, and this list became a little shorter. Did it become shorter? I don't see that it became shorter, but it's supposed to. I think it did, actually, because I know those programs do have it. Anyways, that's another tool for you guys. I was gonna say it doesn't want me to go that far back. One of the other tools that we don't have in this packet, and I apologize for that, but we could put it on our website if we don't have it already, is the Ready Set Grad website. It's literally readysetgrad.wa.gov. And again, .gov, right? When we were looking at Big Future, that was a .org website, commonapp.org website. So we're trying to use .orgs, .govs the most, so that we know that they are a little more reliable or more filtered, or they have been reviewed. But the Ready Set Grad website is pretty neat. If you can select 12th grade. I'm in 12th grade. What should I be doing this year? They give you a timeline. They also, if you go to click Money for College, they have a financial aid 101 presentation, but again, we're going to be giving one to you guys as well. But they also have just the different types of financial aid. If you go to scholarships, you see the different scholarship search engine tools that you can utilize to get more lists similar to what we saw on Big Future. The washboard.org is a big one. Well, big one and I. So it's smaller than Big Future, but it's a good thing that this one is smaller because this one is centered around Washington State students looking for scholarships. And there are some scholarships out there that are only for Washington students, which is kind of nice because that tells you there's likely to be less students applying to these scholarships than maybe the ones in Big Future. So a good amount of information. If there are parents viewing this webinar, you can also hit parent for the parent resource and learn about how you as a parent can, or guardian can support your student in their post-high school plans. And
I think our counseling website, because that's where the letter of recommendation form is. So.
it's SHS at the beginning, right?
The link is on the page.
Make sure to select Sultan High School. And then you can find us under student learning. A wealth of information on here, but if you go to Counseling Center, you'll see us there, except my picture is a photo coming soon. I don't know when soon is, but you get to see me right now so you know what I look like. And then if you click on our names, you can send an email out to us, but it also pops up on the bottom left-hand corner if you can see that right now, that email address. These are the different counseling resources that we were talking about. You go to Snohomish County Crisis Resources. Oh, it's not going to pop up because it's a pop-up, but you can see the different resources in the community. If you go to Counseling News, this is where we're going to be posting things like virtual admission workshops, information about your AP exams, the letter recommendation form, and many more opportunities as the year goes by. I'm going to go back to Counseling Center because another tool is utilizing the Counseling Center links. And you'll see different links on here for that as well. So for those of you guys applying to FAFSA, that'll be on here. And links for the SAT, ACT. And I want to go back to Counseling Center one more time. Scroll down. There's going to be a lot of terms that you're going to hear throughout the year, whether it's through us or the colleges or scholarships. And here's just a vocabulary list for you guys to refer to should you need additional information for that. Anywho, I think that is all we had. Anything else?
I think that's it. I do know that in our packet, we have a Ready Set Grad page. I think it refers to WASFA, but their link to the website should be included there as well. So not everything is in the cover page. And this has actually been updated since we sent out the original packet. So we'll post the update and the packet online for parents to access as well. So.
Okay.
Thank you. I really appreciate you, counselors. Nice work. You put a lot of work into it, I could tell. So very much appreciated. Thank you. And thanks, students, for sticking around and joining as we wrap up our webinar.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. You guys enjoy your weekend. Take care.